We're making fresh apple cake today, and it's Grandma's very own. Welcome to Help at Home, your resource for great recipes and easy learning. I'm Jim Hightower. Today we're making fresh apple cake, and it is Grandma's very own. Recently my mother, who is a social worker at our local hospital, got the COVID vaccine, and she's very active and very healthy and walks a couple of miles a day every day. And since then she's had some reactions. They have caused her to have enlarged joints and stiffness in her bones where she can't walk, yada yada yada. So I'm going to make Grandma's fresh apple cake and take Mom some. And this is one that you'll love to share with your family too, whether they're up or down. So grab your pen and paper. Here come those ingredients. You will need 4 cups of shredded apples. That is going to be a blend or a mix of Honeycrisp apples, that's the actual name, Honeycrisp, and Granny Smith apples. You'll need about 2 Granny Smith apples and probably 5 of the Honeycrisp apples. And you'll just peel them, core them, and then you can take a shredder like this and grind your apples, or I used my electric salad shooter and did it like I do hash brown potatoes, so that worked out really well. So 4 cups and the juice. Mix that in 2 cups sugar and 1 cup salad oil, like canola oil or corn oil, anything regular. And then you'll mix that together and let it set aside for a while, 30 minutes to an hour. You can refrigerate it, I don't think you have to. Also, you'll need 2 beaten eggs, 3 cups of flour, 1/4 teaspoon cinnamon, and I'd say about 1/8 of a teaspoon of cloves, ground cloves. Now that's half of a 1/4. You can eye it on your 1/4 teaspoon measure. And then nutmeg. This recipe actually calls for 1/4 of a teaspoon of each of these, but cloves can be overpowering, so you only want a little bit of that. And nutmeg is really overpowering, so instead of 1/4 of a teaspoon of nutmeg, you can either leave it out, or you can do what I did, put kind of a pinch or just a couple of little shakes in there. 1½ teaspoon soda, that's baking soda, not baking powder. 1 teaspoon salt, and preheat your oven to 350 degrees. For the icing, you will need 1 stick of butter melted, 1 cup brown sugar, half a cup of evaporated milk, or you could just do half a cup of milk, 1 box of powdered sugar. 1 box of powdered sugar is 3½ cups sifted, or 4 cups of unsifted powdered sugar. You'll need half a cup or more of pecans, or any nuts that you're into, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And we'll do that together when the time comes. You'll need a 13x9 pan, glass or aluminum, and spray it or butter and flour it. And then I have my bowl of apples here that has been soaking in the oil and the sugar, and as Julia Child would say, the extruded juices. So I'll pour that in, and I'll be honest, if you see a little red or a little green, or perhaps both, I started off by not peeling my apples, and then I thought better of it. I guess I'll get my wiping paddle attachment and I'm going to give this a quick little mix here. Woo. Woo. Ooh, that went wah. Then I have 2 eggs slightly beaten. And then next, all I have to do is slowly put the flour and all the dry ingredients in. The spices and baking soda, etc. And then give it a good mix. It's always good to scrape the sides and bottom even when you have this handy scraping paddle attachment. Make sure nothing's left behind. And that's it. It couldn't be easier. Here is my cake batter. That just goes in so fast. And for my favorite diabetics, you could make this. You can use the Splenda sugar blend, and you use 1 cup of that instead of 2 cups of sugar. Even that out a little bit. If you're wondering, this kind of has the consistency. It reminds me of oatmeal, but it tastes so much better. Woo! Alright. Into that 350-degree oven for 55 minutes. And you know me, everybody's oven is different, so you need to check it probably at 45 minutes. Toothpick test, stick it in. If it comes out dry, it's done. If it comes out wet, it needs to cook a few more minutes. Set your timer. Here is the fresh apple cake just out of the oven. It was completely ready at 45 minutes, so again, always check early the first time you make something in your oven. And look at that. Just beautiful. And it smells delicious. I'm setting the cake pan on a cooling rack while we make the icing. In my pan, I have 1 stick of butter melted, and I put my vanilla in with that. I'm going to go ahead and pour in my 1/2 cup of evaporated milk, and my 1 cup of brown sugar, and I've got this over low heat. I'll turn it up to about 3 out of 10. Okay. Now you can see there the icing is going to be a nice apple brown color. It makes me think of Apple Brown Betty, but I've never had one, never made one. So I'm just pouring in the powdered sugar slowly. I did not sift my powdered sugar, so I have 4 cups. But again, if you sifted it, then you only need 3.5 cups. Of course, if you sift your powdered sugar, you don't have to worry about any lumps in your icing. And that's always a possibility. But since we're putting nuts or pecans in here, people won't know the difference between a little lump in your icing or a pecan. I'm going to heat it up a little more. You see, that's what it looks like. And really, you're not cooking this, you're just mixing it together until it's all together. I have a few little lumps, but shh, we won't tell anybody. And here I have about 3/4 of a cup of chopped pecans. In Texas, we're all about chopped pecans. And then I'll push these pecans that got stuck there. And I'm about to put this on my cake. And this is similar to Grandma's chocolate sheet cake, which we haven't made yet, but it is a recipe where you can just pour the icing over the hot cake, which is always nice. You don't have to worry about the cake melting the icing because it's a melted icing already. Oh, that's yummy. Get all those pecans out of there. Oh, I didn't pay attention, and I think I had a little bit come over the front edge. Ooh. And we'll taste it. Ooh. Ooh. Yummy. We'll clean up and get a piece for the glamour shot. If you like this recipe for fresh apple cake, Grandma's very own, give it a thumbs up to help the channel. Subscribe and share with your friends who like to cook or just want to learn how. Drop me a line in the comments below about your experience with this recipe and what else you'd like to see in the kitchen. Click the bell in the top right hand corner for notifications. I'm Jim Hightower, and remember, everyone needs help, even me. Be well and enjoy. Today we're going to make Grandma's own fresh apple blopper. Now, one box is 3.5 cups sifted, or 4 cups of unsifted. I have melted 1 stick of butter, and I put my vanilla. If you like this recipe for ice maker, drop me a line in the recipe flopper.